Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. And we got quite a bit of information to talk about today. We've got updates on the 757, an update to the 787-8, as well as a bunch more, guys. So stick around. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come along down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. Virpil, first off, has opened up a store in the UK and is offering up to 20% off on all purchases up until July the 31st at 23.59 UTC. This is very significant for Virpil, and I congratulate them as this offers far more distribution options, as again, this is not just a store but also a distribution center. Later on down the road, there will also be a in-store demo setup where you guys can actually go and visit the store and be able to try out various cockpit configurations using the Virpil products. As you guys may or may not know, I am a huge supporter of Virpil. I think their products are absolutely of the finest quality, and they are constantly changing their innovation and construction to better suit the flight sim experience. They are developing both controls that can be used in both general aviation, commercial aviation, as well as combat simulation. Now, obviously, they are very much so aimed at combat simulation, space simulation at the moment, but I am sure as time goes on, that will change. At least that is certainly what my hope is. I absolutely love their products, and I fly with them exclusively at the moment. My cockpit is based around the Virpil configuration, and I couldn't be happier with it no matter what aircraft I am flying. So I wanted to make sure you guys were all aware of the sale that is going on when purchasing from the UK store, as well as just Virpil products in general, in case you haven't been aware of them. I have multiple reviews on my channel. If you guys go to the reviews playlist, you can certainly find many of the items that I have reviewed on my channel thus far. And I still use to this day exclusively darn near, and am very, very pleased with the products. Fast Cow Productions has hit the scene with a new trailer in regard to their CH-8 helicopter. The CH-8 is an ultralight helicopter that offers an incredible amount of fun and enjoyment to the flight simulation. They are building it around a very authentic build to the real aircraft and truly trying to match it as realistically as possible. The custom both interior and exterior textures, as well as a full sound set of the aircraft, are going to be available at the time of release. Continue to follow the channel for more information on this CH-8, but this is another very welcomed addition to the Microsoft Flight Simulator environment. The ultralight helicopters are much smaller than your average size helicopter and can be flown in much significantly, I should say, different environments than what you'd see a much larger helicopter, and very much so designed more around the hobbyist than the professional pilot. So stay tuned for the CH-8. If you are like myself and you are constantly trying to think of new places to fly to and places that you haven't been to before, there has been a website that has been designed specifically to solve that problem. Here you enter in your departure location, the area, region of the world you wish to fly, and your aircraft code, or basically more like your aircraft type is what they're looking for here for those who don't understand that. You can set your intended airtime, meaning how long do you actually want to be flying for, and you can have it ranked by the weather and ATC coverage. When it says ATC coverage, it is referring to VATSIM. There's also an advanced search options, which allows you to break down those parameters even further, allowing you to essentially change the difficulty and the flight experience of what you're going to be experiencing while flying. Hence the flight experience. I literally just repeated myself on that one, so don't blame me, guys. It is very, very late here at night, so my bad. But let's go ahead and enter in that information again so we can go ahead and see what that would look like. So for example, if I wanted to fly a Cessna here, let's say we wanted to go 0 to 3 hours. Runway length, I'm not too worried about. Elevation, I'm not too worried about. Let's say we wanted to find a windy place, maybe with some gusty winds, do a crosswind landing here, maybe some reduced sight. And let's see what we get. And we want to do VFR only. I'm not too worried about the VATSIM coverage, but for one of you guys, let's go ahead and select that and let's go find a destination, see what we get. So nothing, and I guarantee the issue there is probably more the VATSIM coverage because I'm on the West Coast. Searching again here, finally, there we go. Harry Reid International Airport. You guys, I live in Tucson, Arizona, and I've never heard of this one. Now, it looks like it's over in Las Vegas. And you even get your MEDAR information and give you an idea of how long you guys are going to be flying. You got an airtime of 3.1 hours and a distance of 316 nautical miles. It even gives you the runway length. That is one big freaking runway there. So, very neat piece of software here that's free to use. And again, the nice thing is it's web-based, so it's can be accessed from any mobile device or any device with a web browser on it. Again, that is wheretofly.today.com. So if you guys are interested, a link to this website will be found in the description below. Next up, PMDG has released their 737, 700, and 800 livery packs on the Microsoft Flight Simulator store. Now, remember, there was a big deal about this a while back as they were requiring, Microsoft Flight Simulator, I should say, was requiring a purchase price in order to be on the marketplace. It unfortunately wasn't something they were able to do for free, but I believe that was in fact the intention. They just unfortunately weren't able to make that happen. So you can buy these livery packs for $4.99 US for each aircraft, depending on which ones you are looking for. But again, $4.99, really not bad. They have a bunch of different variants of liveries for both business and commercial airliners, as well as some of the cargo aircraft. You guys can find a full list on this by simply going to the marketplace and selecting the liveries found there. Aerosoft knows that there is a ton of information that is being requested in regards to the A330, and in the past they have stuck primarily to only using the forums to update us on the status of the aircraft itself. They now have the A330 hub, or the Aerosoft hub, I believe is what it's called, and it gives you all the information that you could possibly have at the current moment that's available in regards to the development process of the A330. This is a very nicely done FAQ that they have here that gives you information on what you can expect from the final release of the aircraft. Now, the goal is to have the aircraft available in our hands before the end of the year. So cross your fingers that happens sooner than later. The A330, I know, is a very highly anticipated aircraft, as it is a much longer range aircraft than many of the other aircraft that we currently have available in the sim today. Aerosoft has definitely boasted a lot of features that are going to be included with the A330, and I highly recommend that you guys check out the website here to determine if the aircraft is going to meet the expectations that you're looking for in the development process of this wonderful large jet aircraft. I know that there's a lot of people who are feeling very similar to I do, that as beautiful and amazing as the Airbus aircraft lineup of aircraft are, I am definitely looking forward to some of the other developers in regard to things such as Boeing, Embraer, etc. To hit the scene in a more higher fidelity level of aircraft. And we're going to be talking about that next. However, the Aerosoft A330 has received a lot of hype, and I'm very, very excited still to see this one coming to the simulator. And I will be picking up the Aerosoft A330 because of all the hype that has been given in regard to the aircraft and the feature list that is supposed to be accompanying it on its final build. So stay tuned for more information on that, and make sure you guys check out the FS Hub, or the Aerosoft Hub, in regard to the development process. The Horizon simulations in Curoin, I hope I say that right, I'm always worried about that and saying that wrong, have released the version 2.1 update for the freeware Boeing 787-8. The 787-8 is the more highly used version of the 787, and I believe the 787-9 following right behind it. The Dash 10 that we have currently by default in the simulator, or at least those who own the premium version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, is actually one of the lesser used versions of the aircraft. That was actually interesting information that I found out not too long ago. However, version 2.1 offers an extremely extensive update, taking advantage of the working title in Asobo Studios AA2, or Aircraft and Avionics update overhaul that was made to the 787 lineup, or in this case, the Dash 10, I should say, aircraft with inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I will tell you that right now, you guys, the default 787-10 with the AAU2 update is an incredible improvement upon what was there before. They certainly went above and beyond and truly made the aircraft worthwhile having, especially given the extensive price of the premium deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I believe was just over $100 at the time of launch. It's been a while since I purchased it, so I actually don't remember what it costs anymore, but I know it was at least $100. Now, the new update includes new cockpit textures and fonts. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the screenshots in regard to that. You guys can see everything from the FCP panel to the screens to the FMS texturing and text, I should say, has all been adjusted. Everything, all of this stuff is all different from what the original version was. I was comparing it to original pictures of my guide that I did for the 787-10, and it has changed significantly. One of the really cool things about it is they've also added things such as wing flex, gear fixes, and significant flight model reworking. Any flight model reworking to this aircraft is definitely a welcome development, given the fact that it flew very much on rails. Even with the heavy division changes, it was still not quite where it needed to be. And that is not to shoot down heavy division. I want to make that very, very clear. They did an absolutely amazing job with the aircraft in the time that mod was active. They added fixes to the flight model and the interior modeling and overall systems modeling of the aircraft, as well as put in a built-in GSX profile. They reworked the flaps, new beacon lights, reworked aircraft data, checklist updates, and even increased the aircraft's max ceiling in Microsoft Flight Simulator to flight level 430 or 43,000 feet. A full changelog can be found in the link and down in the description below or on the flightsim.to website, where you guys can find this amazing improvement to the 787-8. Now, guys, I will be doing a full guide on the 787-8 using this particular add-on, as, again, it is just too good to pass up. Be patient, and that is coming. I know I've had a lot of requests on that. There is a lineup of guide changes that are happening on my Patreon site. If you guys are interested in supporting that project or just supporting the channel, please consider joining me over there, because it certainly makes a lot of what I do possible. Bluebird Simulation stepping out of the shadows once again to talk about their 757 and 767 series of aircraft. The 757, in short, has entered an alpha stage, but is far away from actually being released. The goal is to have it in our hands by the end of 2023, although the CEO has made it very clear that it may slip into the first part of 2024. So be patient, you guys. It is on its way. However, things that are starting to be developed and coming together in completion, the sound set is almost complete. Texturing and modeling has been done. Again, the systems, sounds like, are the primary focus based on everything that I have read on the aircraft. I'm all for them continuing the testing, and I'm all for them taking their time. I am super, super excited for the 757, 767 series of aircraft. Now, upon release, I believe the 757 commercial variant is what's going to be available, with a paid cargo variant being offered shortly thereafter. With the cargo variant being released, there will be a free avionics and software update to the aircraft that will be available to all users who have purchased either variant of the aircrafts. Once the 757 has completed its launch, the 767 will be the primary focus. Now, one of the things that they did tease us with is that Bluebird has stated that following the 767, the team has had access to an aircraft that not many people, quote unquote, have access to, but they did not tell us anything more about it. But they're going to be their next project following the 767, indicating that following the 767, we're going to have an aircraft that it sounds like probably no other developer has had access to as of yet, and it will be something that will be very welcome to the simulation. Now, obviously, that sounds like that's going to be quite a long time before we see or hear much more about this particular aircraft. They have also stated that don't anticipate hearing much more in regards to the 767 until the 757 is complete. And again, the end goal is by the end of 2023, but they have stated that that may leak out until the early 2024. So cross your fingers that they make it by Christmas, guys, because that's certainly my hope. That would be a very awesome Merry Christmas from Bluebird Simulations to have the 757 in my hangar. But obviously, we want quality, not necessarily have it faster. TFDi Designs gave us a heads up on their MD11 that is currently in development for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, the aircraft still has a way to go, but they have been teasing us about quite a few things that are currently in development, such as the sound set as well as failures. One of the failures that were mentioned specifically in regard to this aircraft include even brake temperature, meaning that if you get the brakes too hot coming in on landing, or even in a sense of a rejected takeoff, you could find that the aircraft or the brakes will depressurize. So that's a very, very unique particular failure on this aircraft. The MD11 is certainly an aircraft that doesn't have the greatest of reputations in the real world. The tri-engine aircraft had a lot of issues in its flight time, and certainly gave pilots a reason to stay on their toes when flying it. Us in the simulation environment, I am super excited for the TFDi MD11. It will be awesome to have a tri-engine, something stepping out of the Airbus and the Boeing section of aircraft. And I think it's just going to bring a whole new experience to everything that we have flown yet. You know, whether it be Boeing or Airbus right now, the aircraft fly very similar and behave very similar, where the tri-engine is going to have a completely different way of flying. The flight model, assuming that they nail it, which I have no reason to doubt that they will, is going to be a completely different flight experience. Having that engine up on the top, and then, for example, if you were to lose one of the wing engines, that's going to make the flight characteristics of the aircraft extremely weird. Much more so in the aspect of what do we do? I don't know that I've ever flown any tri-engine aircraft in any flight simulator. I know that they have existed, I believe, in both XP11 as well as the P3D lineup of simulations, but I've never actually had the pleasure of flying one in the simulation. So I am super excited for this aircraft. Again, it's something new, it's something unique. No one else has done it yet. I'm personally hoping that for me, it'll be a cargo hauler. For me, I'm looking forward to flying like UPS and the FedEx version of aircraft and doing some cargo runs in this big bird. It is a very gigantic aircraft. I saw one at an air show not too long ago, and it was just impressive, just the sheer size of it. And then the size of that tail with that engine sticking on top of it. It's just a very unique designed aircraft. So I, for one, am very, very excited to see this aircraft reach Microsoft Flight Simulator, although, again, still have a very long way to go. DC Designs has released their latest version of aircraft, and that is the F4 Phantom. They've done multiple variants of the aircraft, including the British variant as well as many American variants. Now, each aircraft is also fully modeled inside the cockpit, even giving both air-to-air and air-to-ground radar capability. Now, I'm not sure if the air-to-air radar is actually going to track other air-to-air aircraft, but they have stated fully functional. This is an aircraft that is an extremely unique plane. The first version of the F4 Phantom was reliant solely on air-to-air missiles and didn't even have an air-to-air gun in it, meaning that if you fired all of your missiles and still found yourself in a hostile situation, you were completely defenseless. It was an aircraft that relied heavily on just its sheer power, as its glide ratio was basically if you lost the engines, you threw a brick out and you followed it down. Not quite that bad, but trust me, it wasn't particularly good. The F4 Phantom, as you guys know, was extremely popular back in the days of Vietnam, and it was definitely a well-welcomed aircraft and was heavily used by both, I believe, the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds. I believe it was the only aircraft that was used by both demonstration teams. So something kind of exciting there. I also know that this particular release has the aircraft arresting hook for aircraft carrier landing operations. If you guys are interested in doing that, you have that option with this aircraft as well. Again, that is the DC Designs F4 Phantom. And final piece of news here, you guys, my ATR 72600 guide is nearing completion. We should have it released by later this week. If you guys are interested in grabbing that, please consider supporting me on Patreon. There will also be significant updates to the Cessna Citation Longitude guide as well as the TBM 930, given the aircraft and avionics updates provided by Working Title. It has definitely changed the way these aircraft are flown and the performance numbers are gathered for them. Following that, we will be doing a minor update to the Flybywire A330 and then moving on to a fully new constructed guide doing the 787-8 as well as an update to the 787-10 following. So got a lot of work coming with the Patreon guides as well as new aircraft that are coming in. There's a couple others that I am looking at possibly doing a guide on. I would love to hear what you guys' opinion on that is and if there's any requests you have. Also, please be sure to join us on the Discord, you guys. A link to my Discord channel is available on every single one of my videos down in the description. Simply open up your Discords, click that link, and it will send you automatically to our channel. We would love to have you on. We have a wonderful and ever-growing community of very, very supportive people, both on the technical and just the overall flight experience side of the fence. Plus, it's just a fun place to kick back and chit-chat and occasionally shoot the crap. As always, you guys, stay safe and healthy. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you, you know when.